Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tower of Babble Podcast. As always, I am Julian Meush. I'm joined by Jeremy Kozier.
Hello.
And we are here to talk about the latest in film and TV news. We're going to talk about the Oscars. The ceremony was not last weekend, but the weekend before. But life happens. So we're going to get into that. We'll talk about Dune 2 a little bit as well, because we'd love talking about things that are 2 to 3 weeks old. And then we have a little bit of just general film and TV news, and I have an agree or disagree segment to dive into, and I'm sure we'll find a couple tangents to talk about, including which, Jeremy, you were just about to tell me before we started recording. We're going to introduce a new segment here on the show where Jeremy just gives us updates on his physical media collection, because we live in a world where physical media is dying. So we need to celebrate physical media as much as possible. Or maybe just collections in general, because Jeremy has a lot of those too. Don't get him started on Resident Evil 4 stuff. But we'll talk about just physical media film for a minute. Jeremy, you were going to tell me something about VHSs, I think?
Yeah, I mean, eventually I want to get a CRT that has a built-in VHS player because to play my collection of X-Men, the animated series VHSs. I believe I have all of them. Yeah. And they're super cool because of the covers. They're like, they have art from the comics and like snippets from the comics on the back.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So do you own the VHSs and the Blu-rays or DVDs or whichever? Like, is there another copy?
There's only DVD of X-Men as well. Those ones are sweet too, because I think there's like 4 or 5. And they all have slip covers that are embossed, shiny as well.
That is cool.
It's like everything. And
Jeremy, do you remember
the quality of this X-Men show is just so shite on every
yes, there's no
format.
Good. There's really no good.
But I'm assuming that the VHS might actually look good on a CRT.
Yeah, because it makes it look a little bit fuzzier, so it probably looks fine.
In.
It certainly would make you feel like you're back watching Saturday morning cartoons again,
right? Which then led me to the thought process of, what are there some live action movies I should get from back in the day, or just classics to kind of
T2.
accompany? Yeah, well, I think I have all 3 actually Terminators on VHS already. I think I kept some of the collection when it was being tossed, or just kind of like, this is useless now type thing,
right?
But then if I have a corner with the CRT and like just a little stash of VHSs, I think that'd be pretty cool.
So like, how like when you go from one format to another, there's like certain formats where you're like, I'll never need this again. I can think of a couple, like a tape deck.
Tape, yeah.
Like I'll never need a tape.
And all the ones before that, like that we never even had to deal with, like A-Track or something like that or whatever.
But vinyl had a revival, right? And people at one point said, man, I'm never going to need these vinyls anymore, and just toss them, right? So how do you know which one is the format you need to keep because it's going to have a revival versus the ones that need to definitely go in the trash? I feel like VHS might be one of those, by the way. The only exception being
VHS is for sure trash.
Or the CRT experience.
Yeah, it's for sure trash in terms of like the quality experience. But then if you do have a CRT, whether it's for old school video games or whatnot, then why not have a few?
Sure. Yeah.
Throwing that on in the background. Like some people have like wrestling DVD VHSs, which I think are kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like if you're having like a poker night or you're playing pool.
You've got poker night on, throw the wrestling DVD in. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh. For me, it'd be X-Men though.
Well, yeah, for most normal people, it wouldn't be the wrestling. Although wrestling's having a revival right now, if you believe The Rock, who's like back in the WWE, which is wild at times. But this is not.
Well, he comes back every now and then.
Yeah, I know, but apparently he's like, this is like a legit one. Like he's doing it.
This is a nice. They wrote a good story here. Is what's happening.
Oh, really? Okay, I don't know. He's being like,
well, yeah, it doesn't just. You don't just show up and ad lib. You know what I mean? Like it's.
I don't know.
It's definitely baked in, and they decided the contract, what they're going to do, how much free time he has, where he's going to show up, how it's going to lead to like future matches. Because it's all about him, Roman Reigns, and some other guy. I don't really pay attention, but I just know that Roman Reigns is like going to break the record or something, which would be Rock's record if he like wins.
Records for what, championship belts or like?
I don't know, something.
Some type of record. Yeah, okay. I gotta say, I was watching. I saw like an Instagram post of him like cutting a promo in the gym, and I was like, I'm like, I'll listen to like, because there's one thing to listen to like Dwayne the Rock Johnson do an interview or whatever, do an Instagram spot, and he's kind of got like the Hollywood like voice or whatever. But sometimes it's fun to listen to The Rock being The Rock, where he's like speaking in third person and calling people, pansies or whatever he says. But I started watching it, and he's like kind of warming up into the whole thing, and and then I looked at how long the thing was, and it was like 8 minutes, and I was like, absolutely not. I watched like 2 minutes of it. I was like, this is much too long, because like if within 2 minutes you hear The Rock refer to himself as The Rock like 15 times, I feel like that's already a few too many, even for someone who's like nostalgic for the Attitude Era or whatever. But anyway, this is not about wrestling, or wrestling as they called it in South Park. I was going to mention about X-Men. We're going to talk a little bit about X-Men 97. There's a little bit of news. Obviously, I think it premieres this coming week, right? Any day now.
Yeah, I think it's like the 20th.
So yeah, it's like 2 days from now. Yeah, so it's right around the corner. So we're gonna do a little bit of a look back. I was gonna mention, when you were talking about your like DVD collection, do you remember in high school when I made my own version of season 1 on DVD with like bootleg versions of X-Men the Animated Series, and then I made my own like DVD menus? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you're like it sucked, and I was like, absolutely not.
That's what I was holding back. I did not give you any credit for whatever you created. I couldn't get behind it.
It was so advanced for its time. I was years ahead of the curve at that point. I had my own.
But I think the DVDs I thought the DVDs existed already. That's why I thought it was lame.
No, well, I don't know. There's version like the show was available to like torrent. I remember.
Either way, we need that show and the Spider-Man show to be remastered like ASAP.
Yeah, like, because even if you watch them on like Disney Plus, right?
Oh, brutal!
It's still really
absolutely horrible.
I remember thinking even this must have been like DVD era, watching them and thinking, man, these shows didn't look very good. Like, my memory of them was like they looked so good, but then like in motion they were so stiff. And then I remember even with the X-Men series, like early few episodes, like the first handful of episodes, 4 or 5 of them, there's like lip sync errors, and like people, like one character's talking but like another character's voice is speaking and stuff. Like all that stuff would be nice to fix. I don't know what the like lift is on that, like how much work that would be, but I feel like it's worth it. So.
That's like, yeah, that seems like almost like a remake, a redo. I don't think it's always just been remasters, right? Of just the image itself. It's not like going in it and like AI technology. I mean, yeah, I guess it's like time maybe to start using that type of stuff.
Yeah, I was actually, that's interesting, because you're talking about that before we started recording, like using the AI tools for 4K upscaling.
Yeah.
You think
for cartoons it would look way better than
that's what I'm saying. I feel like with cartoons it's like got to be the perfect tech, because all the lines are relatively straight, and the motion blur is kind of more like understood and preset. I feel like that's the perfect opportunity to leverage that kind of technology. I mean, we're not experts in this, but that would make a lot of sense to me as a layman from a technology standpoint. Anywho, all right, let me just do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we'll jump into the meat of everything here. So quickly, if you are new to the show, the best place to follow us and keep track of everything we're doing is on Twitter and Facebook, at Tower Babblecast on either of those, Twitter or /X. I still prefer to call it Twitter. The website, towerofbabble.ca or towerofbabblepodcast.com. You can get to the same place either way. We do a monthly film club. This is exclusive to our Patreon. We have a Patreon. It helps keep the lights on. In fact, the website is up for renewal this month. And it's pretty exciting. Last month we did Dune Part 1. We released that wide because it felt appropriate, to make that available to everyone. But most of the time they are exclusive to the patrons. Again, they are monthly. This month, in honor of the Jake Gyllenhaal feature film that's about to a remake of a classic, we're going to be doing the 1989 Roadhouse So I've never seen that. I don't think, Jeremy, you said you never saw it either. So that'll be a first for us. And so we're excited about that. That's the Patrick Swayze version, which I think I haven't seen or really heard anything about the Jake Gyllenhaal version, but I have to assume it's better. So again, no offense to Jake Gyllenhaal, but we're talking about Patrick Swayze. So, it's not, how are you supposed to compete with that? Anyway, so that's on the Patreon, patreon.com/Tower of Babble Podcast. You can find that there and help support the show. You can also, by supporting on Patreon, join our Discord, where you get access to the behind the scenes. We record this live. We're live right now on Twitch and YouTube, but you can also be live in the backstage in the recording studio channel on our Discord, which gives you guys priority access. We'd love to have you there, and you're very welcome to join us. All right. On that note, let's move on to a correction I need to make because I've made 2 mistakes in a row about the same mistake. So on the Oscars preview show that I did with friend of the show, Axel from the Daily DVR podcast, I mentioned that Mark Ruffalo was Canadian, which was not true. Although I spent my entire life up until this moment, basically, assuming that he was. I don't know how that happened, where that mix-up came from, but I was wrong about that. So Mark Ruffalo is not Canadian. So that's the first correction. And then when I tried to make that correction on the most recent episode of the Small Screen Star Wars podcast that I do with our co-host Rachel, where we have been talking about and reviewing and recapping the Bad Batch Season 3, I mentioned that I thought that first I said Ryan Reynolds, but I meant Ryan Gosling. So that's already confusing. That I said that Ryan Gosling wasn't Canadian when in fact he is. But I meant to say Mark Ruffalo. So if you're following, what happened was I originally called Mark Ruffalo Canadian, even though he's American. And then I said Ryan Reynolds, meaning to say Ryan Gosling.
Just tell everyone you're stupid, and then we can just keep.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you listen to the show long enough, you know that I confuse names quite often. So I appreciate the patience as I go through these challenging times. Anyway, thank you. Apologies on that. The thing is, Jeremy, it's important to call out when celebrities are Canadian. Okay, so from my perspective, it's worth the mix-up because now there may be someone out there who thinks Mark Ruffalo is Canadian. I think that's good. I think that's a good thing. So, anywho, okay, let's get into the news. Let's talk about the Oscars. Speaking of that, again, we did a preview show, and as a part of that preview show, we did our Oscar ballots. I'll get into the scoring, but I'll mention first of all that longtime friend of the show and Patreon subscriber, supporter, Jason Telford, submitted their score sheet to us ahead of the Oscars. So to be officially counted amongst the hosts here. So I'll just say that Jason got 12 out of 23 of the full list of picks correct. Just but well, that's pretty spoilers. Good. That's not bad. That's also the number I got out of my picks.
Yikes!
Well, what did you get, Mr. Prognostication?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't.
You didn't do it?
No.
Well, I'd recommend next year going to VanityFair.com. They actually had an online tool, so you could fill out a ballot online, and then it would then tell you after the Oscars what your score was. So I've always been doing the manual counting. In this case, it was done for me. But again, for the 10 core awards that we cover usually each year, which are, in case you're not familiar, Best Picture, Best Director, Actress, Actor, Supporting Actor, Actress, Screenplay, Adapted Screenplay, and Score and Cinematography. Jason
Nothing else matters.
Well, I mean, that's not to say that the others don't matter. I personally would have also liked to include animated feature in there. I usually like including that. I also usually like sound and maybe even editing. But if you really had to narrow it down, I feel like those are the 10 core awards. And so Jason scored a 7 out of 10 on those core awards. For myself, I also scored a 7 out of 10 on that. So Jason and I basically tied exactly. Our guest host, Axel, scored, if you want to save your ooze for this one, 4 out of 10 on the will win category, because of course we do both will win and should win, and 3 out of 10 on the should win category. I did slightly better at 5 out of 10 on the should win category. The distinction there being will win is basically just your standard predictions. The should win being your favorites, and then if you hit on those favorites, then it's like, oh, you have such good taste. That's how I've always kind of looked at it. The ones that, like, I feel like this year was particularly easy amongst the core awards because Oppenheimer was set to sweep and basically did. So with very few exceptions, I would say at this point. So, all right, with the scoring out of the way, and also thank you, Jason, for submitting. Next year, I encourage more people to submit their scores. Would love to see more and make it more of an event. I always do live tweeting. Did so again during the Oscars. I love the Oscars ceremony. And Jeremy, I got to admit, this year they knocked it out of the park. What a great time it was to watch the Oscars. Do you agree?
I only watched the beginning.
Oh, you're killing me. Did you at least see the bit with the naked John Cena at least?
I did. I thought that was kind of weird, to be honest. I was just like, what are we doing here?
They're celebrating costuming, Jeremy. That's what they were doing. Tell me, what did you think of the event, even if you only watched half?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem as like epic as years past to me. It feels
It's lost its luster.
A little hollow.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because you kind of had a sense that, okay, yeah, Oppenheimer's probably going to sweep this, and that's just less exciting than on more of an open field, or something else?
Well, it's supposed to be like a show, like an entertaining show as well, right? So it's like you had like the Ken performance and like
pretty good,
and a couple other ones.
But it
just didn't seem as good.
Well, that's surprising you say that, because I think this is the best ceremony, actual broadcast of the event that we've had in years. Yeah, there were some complaints. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel, he's tired. His jokes are old.
Hosting's a tough gig.
Yeah, I
watched the Grammys whenever those came out, and those were like fantastic. I thought just the way the host was super positive and like just keeping everything flowing. Plus, also with that show, it's like the music is at the forefront, right? So
sure. Well, I feel like that's kind of not really fair.
Take over.
Yeah,
and are super entertaining and different, unique.
Jeremy, what do you think about this? Do you think that for the acting categories, it would be interesting to see actors perform on stage, or is that like it's the wrong medium, right? That's stage acting, then, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't there someone who talked about that? How the old Oscars were like that, like the movie stars would like.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They'd show up and like do things and like be entertaining
instead of just sitting there and like complain about the jokes. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the solution was. I tell you this: I did like for the acting categories that they brought out these former winners, right?
Right.
And then had them like talk about each nominee. I thought that was a nice touch. Or do you think that's like too boring still? Still just couldn't grab you.
No, that's always cool. I always like when they change it up for the what are they called?
The nominations. I don't know.
The people who like say the nominee.
The presenters
or whatever. Yeah. It's always cool when they like get some icons in there.
Well, and in that case, I feel like it feels so much more genuine, because like normally you get the presenters come out, they say some hammy thing, right? Like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a fun one because there's lots you can play with on that, right? You've got twins, plus you have the Batman thing that they riffed on.
What's the point?
That worked. Well, that's fun. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Is there another point other than just it's fun? Or that's
it.
Yeah.
That is it. What do you need another one? Is there another needed?
No, it was good. It just like it wasn't like rehearsed on like Michael Keaton's end, right? And like he does like the whole thing where like puts his fingers up, whatever. I just thought it was a little awkward, but like it's cool. It's not. I just like I was just at like to my I was like, what are we like? Is it's just to appeal to
what are we doing here?
Batman, like Batman, old like 90s Batman.
I think so.
Fans.
I think so, but I like you like you,
like we moved
like
so
Arnold.
Yeah, I know. That's the only reason why Batman and Robin kind of like is still amongst,
It still works for
like
you.
it's the worst. It's the worst, but at least it has Arnold in there.
It has those puns, and those puns are like a reason to watch in and of itself, right? Ice to meet you, Batman.
It also has Poison Ivy and Bane.
Oh,
too.
Uma Thurman, right? Yes. That's right. I forgot.
And that crazy scientist
also in that. Yeah.
And that crazy scientist who played Lex Luthor's dad in Smallville.
Right. That's funny.
Lionel Luthor.
I guess like here's the thing. Lionel Luthor
who's super vocal on Twitter.
Who the which
the
guy?
actor.
Luthor or the dad?
The dad actor.
Oh, that's weird. The most irrelevant. I mean, whatever. You're allowed. Anyone can be vocal on Twitter. I'm vocal on Twitter. I'm not any celebrity.
Well, he engages in like the DC like banter.
Oh,
between,
right.
like,
So he's asking for it.
Yeah.
But didn't Michael Rosenbaum also get involved in that recently?
No, he just like interviewed James Gunn on his podcast like a while ago.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, he's like, just promise me Lex Luthor will have some. Like he just kind of like went over all these like things to like establish like.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, but like it was taken as like, okay, the last one we had like it wasn't.
Oh,
like it just came off a little bit disrespectful or whatever towards Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, I see. That's how that.
I mean, you could have your opinions or whatever, right? Like obviously you have yours and whatnot, but like it was between those two people, it just came off inflammatory a little bit.
Right. I just feel like I don't know. Maybe there needs to be like a moratorium on talking about DC stuff online for like 5 years. Because I feel like no matter what you say, someone's going to take it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't say anything.
If you're a fan of one of those things, there's no point in sharing anything, really.
Nothing. Just do yourself like, a favor and don't get involved. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't tweet. Like, I just like things that I agree with that people say about things I like.
Right.
But it's not going to be like inflammatory things. Like, I will if I find it funny. Or like it's clear bait,
right.
And then like because it's not serious, like all this like turmoil people are facing online, and like
it's just not worth it.
It's just so funny how like people actually think it's that dire.
I just think it's become this thing where like it does feel like there's like a reality like warping something going on,
like delusions.
Yeah, like people are literally delusional. Like how can you look at this thing and be like,
how can you determine something's delusional? How can one determine something is delusional?
I don't
know what I mean? Because wouldn't you also be delusional?
Well, not necessarily.
To you, but to the other person you are.
Well, if that person's living in an alternate reality, then sure.
But who decides where they're living and how they perceive things?
Yeah, I don't know, Jeremy. I feel some of these things. I feel like yes, there's some room for like it's just perspective. But there's other times where it's like what are we talking about?
Yeah, but I think that you're just being caught up in the bait.
I
think that someone is intentionally saying the most outlandish thing, or it's usually in comparisons.
It's usually comparisons. Comparisons are wild. Like,
yeah, I saw you would you put your like wild to put Rebel Moon in here or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's like obviously this person is making this up.
Yeah.
And then everyone's catches your attention. Stuff. Yeah, I was gonna tweet a similar one back to you, whatever. It was like IMAX shots or something like that.
Sure.
And then like the fourth image was like Margot Robbie, like Harley Quinn and like the Suicide Squad. And I was going to say, wild to include the Suicide Squad in this IMAX conversation.
That's funny. Yeah, like there's just so many. Like I can go. I don't even want to go through my like the Twitter stuff, but I gotta say, like my all-time favorite meme. And this comes up every once in a while, and maybe it's not my all-time favorite, but I really enjoy it every time I see it. But is the 3-strip comic pull from Watchmen with Dr. Manhattan on the moon.
Oh,
It's 1984.
It's 1984.
Blank, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the best one right now for DC is that like it's like the creative will save DC or whatever, and it's always changing.
Right.
And like there's like been like 6 since Zack Snyder or whatever in terms of like who's
so funny.
been in control. So that is pretty good.
The most recent one I saw, it's 1984. I'm buying tickets to see Ghostbusters in Dune. It's 2021. I buy tickets to see Ghostbusters in Dune, and it's 2024. I'm here to see Ghostbusters in Dune, and I am. You know what?
That one doesn't make too much sense though, because like the meme also, you're supposed to like reflect that you're like kind of like emotionless to it,
right? When this one's
whereas
like,
that one would be like a celebratory. It should be like a celebratory thing.
Yeah. I don't know, like Jeremy, the one that you mentioned with the Wild to include Rebel Moon was, it's crazy how these properties are ones that we are into over DC, Marvel, and Star Wars. And it's The Boys. And it's Invincible, and I'm like, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, which
and then
correlate.
Rebel Moon.
Yeah, which has nothing to do with those. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. That's so funny. The trailer for Rebel Moon Part 2 basically just dropped. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen the first one. I'm waiting for the R-rated.
Yeah, someone was like, so on Twitter. Again, this isn't just a show where you just recap what happens on Twitter, but it is funny when you see this stuff. But someone's like, oh, I hated the first one. And someone's like, oh, I'm waiting to see like the director's cut or whatever. I'm like, and the guy was like, what do you mean? The director literally cut the first one. So I don't like the whole thing. That whole thing is so wild. Like the R-rated version, it's like, it's a whole different movie. I'm like, there's no way it's a whole different movie. I'm like, I'm willing to eat my words,
rated R to PG-13 is pretty. I mean,
yeah, sure. There's a lot more.
I just think that like the PG-13 one is just a very like, it's just a very, the PG-13 one is not supposed to be the one that, oh, the new Star Wars is going to blow everybody away. It's like, that wasn't necessarily intention. That's like the whole Netflix model of like creating more content or whatever, right? Because they're going to get,
but they don't. It's unrated. They can put whatever they wanted on there.
Well, but they're getting multiple views drops.
Sure,
they're getting multiple drops that could accumulate millions of views.
I still feel like it's like
so. Just bear with me for 1 second. If you could just eliminate these part 1, part 2, and these PG-13, whatever. If you could just imagine that the director of 300, the Watchmen, the Justice League saga, he's doing this Star Wars kind of rated R, and it's influenced by that heavy metal comic from like the 80s or whatever. I don't know if you've ever seen that, which is like super gory or whatever. So that's essentially what Rebel Moon is. It's supposed to drop like that, where it's like this crazy fantasy sci-fi
that's why
world where
one.
like it's like there's crazy blood and killings and like sex and like heightened shit like that. So that's not in the first one though. That's why the whole entirely different movie is. That's like the phrase. It's not.
Yeah, why would you release the bad one first though?
Because it's Netflix, right?
Yeah, but you could release the rated R version and then be like, don't worry, there's a PG.
But then you don't get the zeitgeist or the cultural significance of like the cut.
I feel manipulated.
Of the directors. But the Snyder and his Snyder cut thing is such a huge thing.
Yeah, but that was a once in a lifetime phenomenon. You can't recreate that in a test.
No, but it's part of his like his thing though. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I don't.
So now we're getting like basic versions of the movie for content for Netflix that will have its drop and have its streams, and then all out of nowhere we're just going to get this crazy R-rated. Like that's like batshit crazy that like things will be shared, memes will be made, like the
I hope so, because again the PG-13 version is not good, so it's like
no, it's not. It's probably not. I haven't even seen it. I know it's probably not. It's like I just know what I want to see when I dive into that world.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I at this point I probably will wait. I probably won't watch this. I mean, now I kind of want to see the second part just to see how different it's going to be from the R-rated version, but now I feel like they got me. So yeah, like. There's no winning, it feels like, in that scenario. Anyway, what were we talking about? The Oscars. Is there anything else you want to mention about the Oscars? Again, I liked the show. I thought the ceremony it was tight. It was like 2.5 hours, which is great. I thought it was nice having, yes, Jimmy Kimmel is not the perfect host, but as you mentioned, it's a thankless job. So I'd rather have Jimmy Kimmel than no host. You want to go back to the years we had no host? Because that sucked. So I don't want to go back to that. And then what else do I want to mention? Oh, and then obviously
bring Billy Crystal back.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
The best host. Billy
Crystal. I do love
like growing up, like he was always hosting.
Yeah, he was
when I was watching, it was so awesome.
Well, people were saying that John Mulaney should do it because he did that little bit about the Field of Dreams, and I thought that was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
And then he was at another award ceremony like maybe 4 months ago where he had like a good bit.
John Mulaney's a funny guy. I like John Mulaney. I would be fine with that too. I mean, again, the point is like, I think as you like, apparently you get paid $15,000 to host the Oscars, which is like a tiny amount of money if you're a celebrity.
Yeah, I don't know if they do it for that. They just do it for like just to bring your stock up or whatever.
Sure, but he already hosts the Late Show. Like what more? I mean, whatever. It's fun. I'm happy that he does it.
Yeah, but then also people think he's like a leftist, like plant or whatever. Like all of his content is like heavily biased towards the left. Same with Colbert.
Sure, I guess.
Same with Fallon. It's like all these like
celebrities in there, or maybe they just they just don't like crazy people. Anyway,
yeah.
So, do you want to mention anything about Oppenheimer sweeping, RDJ winning, or anything like that? I feel like the Nolan speech.
The writing was on the wall.
It's like a nice, like traditional, like best director speech. They come up to win. He doesn't even come up. I feel like again when they win best picture, and then the show's over. I feel like the one thing that they haven't quite nailed is trying to make the best picture winner event, which is right at the end of the show when I feel like they're trying to rush to close everything out, feel bigger. Because it's the big movie.
Well, I thought it bombed because Al Pacino like fumbled the words or something like that. He's like, and I'm going to open it right now. Like it was good. Like he was being funny.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, there's Al Pacino. He's old, but he's still, he's still ticking.
Yeah.
And then he's like, my eyes see Oppenheimer. Like he kind of like blurred the like. He kind of like meshed the words together, I guess, and people were like kind of confused. I guess I don't know.
I guess. I mean, I can't imagine. Like, it could be worse. He could have read the wrong name, which we've had happen before.
Right. But I liked. Was it Emma? Whatever, like
Emma
his
Stone?
wife. No. His producing partner.
Nolan's wife. Yeah.
Roberts. No, I don't know what it is. Anyways, her speech was sweet. Like you could just tell, like just this labor of love, this partnership that they've had over all these years, all these huge movies they've developed together. You could just see like the weight being lifted off the shoulders, like attaining this thing, making this like impossible movie, or like betting on this movie. This like everyone says, this 3-hour, super talkative biopic about the bomb. It kind of blew up, but we also talked about how like Barbie kind of probably helped it as well.
Yeah, it certainly gave it a little bit more legs at the box office. I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
more eyes willing to go see it.
Yeah,
type thing.
And I think a movie's deserving of the win. I don't know when in a career a director like Nolan kind of decides like I want to win an Oscar, but it always felt like he had it in him. So it's nice to be like, okay, Oscar-winning director.
Yeah, Nolan, and this one is more the typical fare, which isn't as exciting though.
Yeah, no, I suppose that's true, but it's also the first time.
It's so weird how biopics or you know what I mean? Like they just tend to win. Like
yeah, and I'm like that's why Maestro to me, it was nominated for Best Picture, felt like such a like safe bet. It's not a good, in my opinion, it's not a good movie. It's so rote. It's so by the numbers biopic, where at least Oppenheimer has more going on. It's more than just about
it really like develops into something greater, like with the music and just the pacing and the visuals, the timeline. It's just quite astonishing how it all just molds perfectly together, and you're just engaged the entire time.
Yeah, 100%.
And people are just talking.
Yeah, it deserves the win. I'm happy for Robert Downey Jr. Getting his Oscar.
Yeah, it's super cool for him.
That is really cool. I mean, someone was saying it's like someone was like, are we supposed to believe, like, are we supposed to feel good for this guy? Like, he's like, oh, he's already a Nepo baby. He was a superstar, and then he blew his superstardom on drugs, and then became a second superstar, and now his second comeback is from being a superstar to being an Oscar winner. Like, it just feels like such a funny way to put it, and obviously it's very like reductive to put it that way, but I am happy for him. There is an element of like, hey, yeah, he helped create the MCU. The MCU revived his career. He admitted that he felt like he kind of lost some of his acting skills while working in the MCU, which is a bit of a backhanded compliment, by the way. I don't love the need for actors these days to be like, oh yeah, superhero movies, they're not real movies or whatever. It's like, fuck you, you were in them and got paid for that. So, it's a little bit, it just feels a little gross. Anyway, so he comes up and he's like, yeah, happy to, it's good to get that off his shoulders. I think he deserved it. There's other actors in that category that also probably deserved it, but it's like, again, one of those things where, okay, he's got the Oscar. There's like all these other great actors now that we don't have to worry about being like, oh, if he's up against RDJ, now we have this like thing. So now he's a winner. We can kind of like, again, put that in our back pocket. It's a couple of those that are nice out of this. I don't know if there's anything else from a Oscars category that we need to touch on too much. So let's just move on here. Let's talk about Dune 2, another prestige movie. I saw Dune 2 in IMAX when it premiered. I think you actually beat me to it. I think I saw it a couple days after you. I have not had a chance to see it again since, though. I want to see it this week before Ghostbusters comes out, so that it doesn't leave the best theaters. I still want to see it in a digital projection, Dolby Atmos. What is your overall thoughts on Dune Part 2?
I mean, it's astonishing, really. The level of depth with everything going on. It's just such a wild ride that just consumes you.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly the music this time around, I thought was just insane. And then some performances
anytime you got the part, I was like so stoked for that. It's one of those like rare scores where they have like this weird like hook moment when not everything has that, and like when that hook comes in, they're like dropping it at like these prime moments. It's kind of like for me,
and there's like crazy beats, like drums around it too. Sometimes they're tribal.
Yeah, it's super cool. Who did the score? Is it Johann? No,
it was Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Yeah. And people said he has like his scores are like pretty like there's not a lot happening. But again, I thought this one was really good. So I don't know.
I think he's probably a lock-in to win the Oscar next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows what comes out
so early in the year, but just incredible work.
Well, same thing for Denis too. Like, I think he's probably certainly an early favorite for Best Director next year for Dune. I mean, just what he did alone. By the way, did you have a chance to watch some of that, like some of his promo work where he's like breaking down all of his best shots from his movies and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
The Sicario one might be my favorite.
I gotta watch that one again.
It's so cool the way he has the camera set up like right at dusk, and like the way he has like describing it, like they're descending into like the blackness.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Tons of amazing visuals like that.
He does. I mean, he talked about he mentioned. I think we talked about this on the Dune Part 1 film club. But how about he doesn't like dialogue. He prefers telling stories visually.
Yeah, I was loving that quote.
Yeah, and I feel like this movie again, I think embodies a lot of that. It's just so cool looking, and I everything about it.
Yeah, the cool. Aesthetic is just amazing. Like, obviously the desert aesthetic has been done before, but you just really feel like you live in this setting throughout this movie. I think the lighting has a lot to do with that too, like a lot of golds.
Yes, I love.
And then just mixed with the blacks, though, right? Like there's a lot of darkness as well.
Well, like stark contrast, and like I love the the very first like action sequence takes place and there's like a partial eclipse going on.
Those floating guys.
And it creates this like weird, like shadowy purple hue. And then you have like the floating dudes. Exactly. The way that they do the zero gravity floating thing, every time it happens, it's super like, it just feels unreal for the, like, in a good way, you know, like my suspension of disbelief is completely, I'm in it.
Yeah. Like everything like, sure, feels like a natural, like evolution and whatever technology or like whatever's accessible. It doesn't feel like, okay, that's like, that doesn't make sense. Like everything just kind of makes sense in this world that he presents.
How cool is that action sequence where they're taking out that spice harvester? That's like the cool, like unbelievable, like the where they're like taking cover from that helicopter or whatever they're called.
Getting into the blind spots of like the
100%
the crawling thing.
Shoots that guy with the bazooka.
Yeah.
Like point blank range. Unbelievable.
We almost have there's like a malfunction at one point. Like it's just the stress. Like you're just taking on a complete adventure ride here with this movie. Like I saw it at I think it started at 10:30 a.m.
Yep. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was like it was like a promo thing for like my buddy at work has a Volkswagen.
Okay.
And I guess there's some sort of promo that like he got emailed. Like
if you buy a Volkswagen, tickets. They're like, hey, you're a Dune customer. We know.
So yeah, they had it at that early. But I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but it reminded me of a quote from Greta Gerwig, who talked about how the best times to see a movie are 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Wait, why?
So you would think, no, those are the terrible times. Well, this is the reason why. So at either one of these times, once you've seen the movie, you come out of the movie and it's either lunch or dinner time where you can spend time discussing the movie. And when you're right before you're about to spend time discussing the movie, thinking about it, you just lived that previous life when you watched the movie.
Right.
You lived a whole another world life.
Yeah.
And you still have your dinner and conversation and evening ahead of you. Same with in the morning, you have your lunch, conversation, and the rest of your day ahead of you when you just lived an entirely different life before that.
Okay. Well, so Greta Gerwig's obviously a genius,
yes,
as we know already. And although she got snubbed at the Oscars for not even getting a nomination, even though her movie got Best Picture nominated, which is always
fun. Well, I did like actually Kimmel kind of shouted them out, I think, in the beginning there.
Yes.
In the opening.
They also didn't win anything except for Best Original Song. So, and they had.
Well, that was Billie Eilish. I mean, that's the legend herself right there.
Do you think she's going to go down as one of the greatest performers of all time?
Easily.
Like singer-songwriters?
Those guys there's like a bit of a magic happening there, right? Like these siblings that just create music in their bedroom.
And she's already won 2 Oscars now.
Dude, she's like 22 or something like that.
I know. And like, to be fair,
I seen a clip where an old lady like lost to her and she was like super devastated. And it's like this like,
oh no,
I think she's won something before, but like she's super old and like pretty like known,
right?
In like the music writing or in the writing for movies or whatever. Like,
oh no,
songs.
That was maybe when she won for James Bond, because
probably, yeah.
By the way, you know, I love both the performance she does here for this Oscars and the one that she did for James Bond. They were almost identical in the terms of the way that they like staged it, where it starts with her back to the audience, but she's looking at the camera and singing, and then it rotates around. And they did the exact same thing for James Bond. And
not much you can do when you just have a guy sitting there with a piano and then she's just on a stool.
It's true, but like, and I'm not saying she needs to be like it does need to be like a big I'm Ken performance, although that was also great.
Well, that's different. That's a different energy.
Yeah, of course.
This song it's so just elevates the emotion of the movie like so much.
Yes.
Like it does so much of the lifting, like an incredible amount. And she's, garnered the success, throughout these award seasons. So
yeah, I feel like a fool because I predicted that I'm Ken is going to win Best Original Song, but that was stupid of me.
I think it won at one of them, right? It won at one of the awards, or no?
I'm sure it did. I mean, it is like
that was where Ryan Gosling looked confused when it won, or something like that.
for me,
I've seen that meme.
it's going to be the one. Yes, I have. It's good. It's a funny meme. It's going to be the one that goes like people remember. You know what I mean? Like people are going to be like, oh yeah, it won an Oscar. And be like, oh yeah, I'm Ken. That probably won an Oscar. Like, but it's not going to be what people like. You know what I mean? When like 20 years from now, people are going to remember that, but they're not going to remember the Billie Eilish one, which is kind of weird. But that's just how it goes with the Oscars. That's just like par for the course. Anyway, back to Dune 2. I thought what I loved about this movie was how they made the first movie make so much more sense.
Yeah, no, this movie retroactively makes the first movie a million times better.
Yes, 100%.
Like, holy cow. And we already kind of like talked about that leading up to Dune 2, how we're like, just feels very much part one. Like we're just kind of like, show us more type thing. But this one, like you really just like from the get-go, you just sink into this world, and it's
they don't have to like
insane.
explain it again, which is nice.
Yeah,
right. And like you already know all like what all the words mean, relatively speaking. You remember the By the way, my favorite meme from Dune is with what's his name, Javier Bardem. It's just like talk about bringing an energy. He is bringing he's so great. I just feel like Javier Bardem, again, underrated, even though he's well loved, well respected. Yeah. But like, I don't even feel like that's enough. He's so good in this movie.
Yeah. It's one of those like special performances / writing that really gets how to if you want to inject humor, quote unquote, because like there's just so much levity with his reactions and like what he's thinking. It really changes kind of how you see things. Like it gives you like a kind of like a cleanse almost every now and then, and it's super refreshing. And he just sells it every time. With this kind of like devotion to the Messiah, if you will.
Yeah, no,
and that in and of itself is just super, super cool to see how that unravels and what that means, right? Because the whole thing with this series is that like you're not necessarily supposed to look at Paul as like a Luke Skywalker, right? Like that's kind of, but you kind of like root for it in that sense as you're like, you don't really know what you just know like the Harkonnens are obviously, bad people.
Yes.
You know that for sure.
That's an easy one. Yeah. Well, they come from a system where their star is black. I don't know what more you need to know.
Right.
That sequence though, by the way, where like the sun casts this like black and white light is really cool. Like, it's very Gladiator-esque, but just somehow.
clean sci-fi images, you know what I mean, of just like the landscape and like the architecture and then the colors and just all those shots surrounding that are just incredible.
Well, I love how like it's so, the detail is so, the detail in everything is so immaculate, but the way that like interior shots when they're on that planet, something Prime or whatever it's called, have a little bit of color because there's like other types of lighting in there. There's like a more standard type of light, which casts more of like a yellow. But then when they walk out into the sun, that light gets washed out by the light of this black sun. And then it just becomes this almost pure black and whiteness. But if you introduce other colors, like with a bright enough light, it would look right, it would have a certain look to it in that light. I don't know. I just thought that was what a cool choice that I was not expecting. I will admit though that I thought the stuff that had to do with the Emperor felt a little weak, but that might be on purpose, because I think the idea is that we're supposed to look at the Emperor and feel that he is weak at this time, right? But again, also,
it's like, come on, Christopher Walken, do something.
It's like poking with a stick. Like. Also, his Christopher Walken-ness like came out in like a couple of these like big moments, and he's like the galaxy, and it's like
no, that did not happen.
No, it wasn't quite like that. It wasn't quite like
at one point he's like the galaxy, it's like there's no way.
Not quite like that. Not quite like that. But you know what I mean. You
You're
know?
just trying to flex your Christopher Walken.
No, because my Christopher
Christmas.
Walken's not even that good, so I don't want to like have to try to do it.
I think they
I do
did
a
a
better
bit
Emperor.
of Christopher Walken on like one of the latest SNLs that actually was pretty funny.
Oh, really? I mean,
Yeah,
he's a character, right? It's just fun to make fun.
just a great voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm ready to see it again. What did you think of the ending? Do you feel satisfied with two parts, or are you like, no, there needs to be Dune Messiah has to happen?
No, you gotta keep going for sure.
You have to keep going.
It's gotta go, yeah.
Like, are
'Cause it's
you
such
worried
a
that it's going to be years before they make it, though?
most likely. I'm pretty sure Denis said that he's gonna do something else first, which is just wild. But which I remember saying like just credit to Warner Brothers for just sticking to it and like getting this one out because like that came out in 21 during the pandemic, underperformed. This one comes out, or this one was supposed to come out in 23, which is not a bad turnaround, but delayed 2024, whatever. We got it, but now the next one's probably 2027.
Well, and I'm okay with
You
that
know,
as long as we know for sure it's coming. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's supposed to be set further in the future.
No, I think it is a for sure coming. I mean, I think it's already crossed 500 mil globally.
Yep.
And the budget's actually only 190.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah,
it's such an. I feel like that's such an indictment on like all other movies that they like. The Fast and Furious movies are being a great example. It's like, what do you mean that cost you $400 million? This movie looks like shit.
Well, the thing, this movie just looks immaculate, but like, there's not like, and we talked, there is detail, but it's like, it's just big shots of deserts.
Well, they just went out to the
worms,
desert.
And then like when they're inside, it's like stone and lighting is very key here. Like,
yes,
there's been a lot of chatter as well online, like showcasing images from Marvel movies and whatnot, and like just showcasing the green screen and like the non-natural light. It's like this shit is such a treat nowadays, even though it should be like baked into the process always.
100% agree with you.
It's a visual medium. You need to convince us that this place is real. You can't just rest on your laurels that it's like, you know, the IP is why we're showing up.
I mean, it's so interesting because the thing is, you can use that type of technology to convince me that something's real. For instance, like the Mandalorian season, or was that Book of Boba Fett? It might have been Book of Boba Fett. The Mandalorian episodes in the Book of Boba Fett. Okay, they had
inside the book,
right? They had this episode where Mando goes to this like ring world, and it's like it's a ring, and he goes up this elevator, and you can see like the whole scope of the ring, and it's rotating and all that kind of stuff, and that felt very real. Like everything about it. The use of the volume to recreate this world that you couldn't physically shoot in felt real to me. And it was, but I've also seen moments where they use that same technology and it looks like shit. For instance, Obi-Wan Kenobi, where they're like, you're supposed to be in this big open space and it just looks like you're, you know, on a set with like painted backgrounds behind you. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of like Denis Villeneuve is a visual genius in terms of like understanding how to like make something look beautiful on
dude, that one slow-mo like blurry shot of like Paul walking and like you just see like the worm like bursting out behind him.
Oh,
and it's like these black like lines of dirt or whatever, like swaths of like mud coming out, or
Dune,
like sand.
or sorry, the sandworm like riding sequence when he rides the worm for the first time. It's in the trailer, but it's very like it's thrilling. That is like really cool. And like the detail,
polar opposite of the original, of the original movie. There,
have you seen the original movie?
I just seen a clip of like when they're on the worm and like they're like smiling at each other because they're riding it, I think. And like, but like there's no sense of speed or like that they're on the worm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just too clean and like calm.
I will say this though about the new movie. When they like ride the worm as like a bus, I think that's a little funny. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like also, how do they know that it won't dive into the ground or whatever?
Yeah, I guess that's how they because they have it hooked, they know it won't. Or something. I don't
This
know. I
giant
also
fucking
here's the
thing.
other thing. You know how they're like, oh, we're gonna hide on the other side of the equator, right? Where the sandstorm protects us, right? And by the way, my biggest criticism of the movie is that once we reach this part where spoilers for the film, I guess starting now, but once
Yeah.
they reach this part where Paul is like, I'm going all in on the Lisan al Gaib thing, it just, I feel like the movie just hits like hyperspeed, and especially with his like characterization, I just feel like he becomes a completely different person, and understanding
Paul?
why that Paul,
Yeah.
why that happens, and like his internal struggle with that feels lost a little bit in the shuffle. That's my biggest criticism of the movie. But
Yeah, but I would
is,
say
go ahead.
I would say that we will feel that way because Zendaya is
That's how
probably
she feels.
is the
POV
breakout
character.
star of the movie here.
So you think
And
that she
POV
like
character, yeah.
POV shifts to her at that point when he decides I'm going all in against her wishes.
I think, well, I mean, it definitely helped my understanding later having Denis talk about like the love story between the two being like, obviously the focal point.
Yeah.
And so seeing that really established here, I thought it just really rang true and was just amazing to watch. You know what I mean? Like the chemistry, the music, the setting, the situation, everything. It just felt okay. This is what we're supposed to do in the middle movie. This is the love interest, and I think it just kind of nailed it. And then to see that shift, you know what I mean, and the choices he has to make in order to keep like the prophecy going or whatever.
Yeah.
I think we really see that from her perspective because we just kind of witnessed them getting so close, and then like you remember certain lines from the movie, like how he says he'll always, as long as he lives, he'll always love her, whatever.
And then turns around and says, "I'll marry this other woman." Yeah.
Yeah. But then you can look back at that statement and be like, well, there's, he didn't say this part about it or this part of this. That can still ring true. And then from my perspective, it sucks for her character, and you can obviously see that. But then we're also like, hey, like this is what he has to do, I guess. You know what I mean? But like we still have to see how that plays out.
I just feel like so he makes this say he's like, well, if I don't do this, then all of the Fremen are dead, right? Mm-hmm. That's his that's the reasoning that is presented to us as the audience. He's resistant of it. He's like, no, I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then when he's presented with the position where, oh, well, if you don't do it, then all the Fremen are going to be dead because that's the end goal for the Harkonnens, right?
Okay, and then why is it so sick when he refers to the world and calls it Dune?
What do you mean? Why is it so sick?
Like, why is that moment so just appealing? Like, why does it feel so good? Like, is it like, do you remember that part when it happens?
Well, when he's talking about like what the ancient word for the planet was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like that's
I just
the
remember
moment.
being like,
that's the meme where you like sit up and point at the screen and be like, he said it.
Yeah. But it was like one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like almost so over the top, like the editing of like the sound. It almost had like just like a crazy like mic drop sound almost or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember that being that was sweet.
The moment that I remember, because I've not to be skeptical. I haven't been skeptical necessarily, but I have never really been like sold that, hey, he's like this amazing actor, right? But then when he does that speech in front of like all those Fremen, and he is just like, nope, I'm the chosen one. I thought that was very compelling. His ability to like
very commanding.
Own that. Sorry, say it.
Very commanding.
Yeah, I thought so. I feel like he really owns that moment, and I thought that was impressive. And then I will admit, the knife fight at the end is pretty badass. Like that's a pretty sweet moment. Did you see the clip of the knife fight from the original movie, from the 1984 movie?
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's like the same setup though, kind of. Like,
yeah, they're like in a room.
Everyone everyone's circled around them. But I remember I saw just so before I forget, like part of the junket, I watched some of the interviews, and those two actors, Timothy Chalamet and
Zendaya or
Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
They were just kind of talking how they felt on that day of shooting, like how much pressure they were under, but how exciting it was to kind of like perform in front of all these like legendary actors who were like there, like, you know, because they had to be there to watch it too. Like it wasn't like they filmed on a different day or whatever, right? Like they're all on set, you know what I mean? Like a true like production.
Yeah, and that's cool because like you have, I mean, Stellan Skarsgård's dead, but maybe he was there on that day anyway. But yeah, I mean, it is a pretty stellar cast. Like if you really look at it, right? I mean, there's really no one on this list. I'm looking through it. It's like Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac. Although he's not really in this. That's Dune Part 1. Let's go to Dune Part 2. But those people are in Dune Part 2. To be fair.
Yeah, they like show plenty of them.
Yeah. What's his name? What is his name? Austin Butler, right?
So yeah, very good. I mean,
Josh Brolin.
He's almost unrecognizable, like in certain sections, which is really cool. Which is what you want.
Yes.
But especially in the knife battle, like when he repeats the line, you know, may that knife chip and shatter. Like it's just holy cow, dude. How did you pull this off?
I said that to Kara, and she thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever said. But she hasn't seen Dune Part 2, so like you gotta give her.
Who'd you see it with?
I went to see it alone, to be honest. But it was a packed showing. It was like almost packed. It was a late show, like 10. It was a 10:00 show, so I didn't get out of there.
Did you make friends with the people to your left and your right?
I had an empty seat next to me.
Did you bridge the two gaps? The two worlds.
No, I mean, like I saw it in IMAX. Obviously, I wish I could have seen it in true IMAX. That would be one of those things that'll.
Yeah, that was one unfortunate thing. I think mine was just like a regular screen, like whatever the early screen was. Like it was not. It wasn't anything huge. Yeah. So it was funny because we were going in. Like, yeah, it's the theater or whatever. And like you see it and it says Dune, like the poster, then it says AVX because of that same hotel. I'm like, oh, sweet, AVX. And then it's the theater right behind that one.
It's what it means.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, and that sucks because I feel like they really have done a good job of updating or modernizing those AVX theaters.
Yeah, but it's a Saturday at 10:30 a.m. What show?
What else is going on?
What time was the Dune regular like audiences? Like what time did it start? Because that's probably why we couldn't get in there.
I guess it must have been already on around the same time.
But it's like, okay, it's like, yeah, Volkswagen's doing this promotion with their customers. It's like, hey, you're like a premium auto service, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, why wouldn't you secure like the best screen at the theater in the morning? Like, why are we in like one of the the smaller setups?
Well, that's why you got to pay. You got to pay the money to see the movie in the big.
It was free popcorn and drink and whatnot too.
Okay, well, so you got to see the best movie of the year, and you got to see it for free, and you got to see free popcorn. So you can't complain that much.
Right, that's true.
Anything else you want to say about Dune? I will say this: I thought, even though she's barely in the movie, I thought Florence Pugh was super cool in it.
Yeah, she's an incredible actress. Really, like everything she's in. Like, I don't know. It's just a lot of like natural acting ability with her face. Yeah. Like you said, not much going on, but like you can just get this sense of weight behind what she's thinking.
Yeah, and I would love to see her, like if they're doing Dune Messiah and she's like married to Paul or whatever, how that all works out. I feel that's really interesting.
Well, I've seen another interview where she mentioned like, Denny like sold her on the movie, but said like, hey, it's super small part. But like, if we get to do another one, you're like a big part. She's like, like, cool. Doesn't matter to me. Like, as long as I can be on set in front of you, working with you, like, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and like
those are the type of actors that are involved with this. It's like they're all just singing the praises of Denis and just wanting to work with someone like him because they know about his process and how artistic he is, and they just want to be a part of that, like no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to add to that. I'll just say that I thought her outfit specifically, where she's wearing like the chainmail and like the knives coming over her eyes, is like the coolest thing. Yeah. And then I will say this about like Rebecca Ferguson, when she goes like full on, mother of whatever, or whatever. I can't remember what she
just
is,
hidden in a cave.
Yeah, but she's just like, yeah, and she's got like the tattoos on her face and stuff. It's so cool.
But people are talking about how like she's like she's amazing in this movie, but like I don't know, like she was barely in this movie as well, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, she's like she
like in the beginning, it's like a pretty big prominent part, right? Where she drinks that the like the whatever worm water juice, spice or whatever.
Yeah, the worm. Poison.
But like in the first movie, she's like hugely important and like all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to have. To me, it's like what if Padme was like the leader of the rebellion? That's kind of like what it feels like to have Rebecca Ferguson, like to have Timothée Chalamet's mom having such a prominent role, or not his mom, Paul's mom, having such a big role in his life and like steering it for him. I think that's like a really fascinating like angle to explore, as opposed to like a Luke who's a pure, he has no family. Both his original parents, as far as he knows, are dead, and then his adopted parents are dead too. So it's like he kind of has this like clean slate, whereas Paul still has this pull to his old family and these kind of pieces. I just think there's so many elements to this that are super interesting. You could like digest this movie for forever. I do want to see it again. I'm going to try to see it again before it leaves theaters. Okay, so let's quickly touch on a few other stories before we run out of time here. So, according to a recent poll, speaking of theatrical experiences, Jeremy, according to a recent poll, 2 out of 3 adults in the USA prefer to watch movies on streaming rather than theaters. What do you think of that?
Obviously.
Do you agree? Are you one of the two, or are you the exception to that? Are you in the minority?
No, I don't prefer it. I just think it's,
it's not surprising.
It's not surprising at all. Like conveniency is just the end all be all. It's changed everything. We're just now in a time where like, yeah, the convenience is nice, but it also gets kind of like boring after a certain while, and then you're almost waiting for like that one movie that's huge to go, and like we're seeing that where people are leaving and going to see Barbie or Oppenheimer or whatever.
You need that special movie, and people aren't going to go see, I don't know,
they're not going to go every weekend.
Action movie 40 of the summer, in theaters every time. Yeah, I feel that. It's still depressing to me. I don't like that though. You know what I mean? Like, I want theatrical experiences to be popular, because if they're popular, they might improve. But it's also possible that if these theatrical, exhibitors are seeing like dwindling numbers, that they will act to try to bring people back into the theater, which would mean things like not increasing the prices of tickets, or not, keeping up, modernizing your theaters. I'm impressed that Cineplex, which is notoriously not a great company here in Canada, is investing in improving things like the Saint Vital Theater, right? Although, again, I'm probably not going out on a limb here and saying that the Dune, like the IMAX bulb, whatever they're using for that IMAX screen, with the projector, whatever, needs a replacement.
It's dim.
It's dim, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. That sucks, though.
It needs to be brighter. So, that's all to say that, yes, you're right, that convenience trumps all. And then, of course, you had the COVID to help be like, no, you just watch every movie at home and all that kind of stuff. But I just feel like the argument that, the theatrical experience sucks and that's why people don't go to the movies, I don't think that's entirely accurate. I think that's just what people say because they don't want to be like,
well, it's expensive
on it.
Right.
Yeah.
For
that's
one.
true. It doesn't have to be that expensive. That is probably it's.
And then when you go, like half the urinals are broken and like the faucets never work, but like that could just be like a Winnipeg thing.
No, I think that's a universal thing, to be honest, with movie theaters. Like, and I can forgive a lot, but the movie's got to start on time. They got to turn, the lights got to turn off. People got to shut up, and then the sound's got to be good. If those things all fall into place, I'll forgive a lot of other stuff, including like $20 popcorn or whatever. So I don't know. I would say invest in the subscription services, or the whatever, CineClub or whatever for Cineplex. Saves you a little bit of money. If you're going to go see movies anyway, you might as well just pre-invest the $10 a month so you can get 20% off concessions and whatnot else. I might also just do that for the Grant Park Theater, Jeremy, whatever their equivalent is. Because I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep supporting these theatrical experiences for as long as possible. Okay, quickly run through a couple things. The Bear is filming seasons 3 and 4 back to back, pulling a Lord of the Rings. The Bear, obviously one of the best shows. It won tons of Emmys this last year, or I guess whatever the last Emmys were. It was not that long ago. But that was for season 1. So season 2 is probably going to rack in more Emmys. I think they're already feeling that buzz, and they are smart enough to know that these actors are now in high demand. Not that they weren't before, but even more so now. And that if they have a story to tell, filming this back to back is probably their best chance of getting this all done without costing them $1 bazillion. I respect their decision. I am excited to see it. It is one of the best shows on television. It has been for, basically since day one. It's really, really good. So I'm excited about that. Any thoughts on that before I move on to the next story?
No, it just made me think of Lord of the Rings, how they filmed it, and it's just crazy.
I just feel like if you have a vision, it's like, and you can achieve it, do it. That's.
Okay, but I'm forgetting how. Like, did they film all 3 and then they released 1 and then they waited a year and released 2 and then waited a year and released 3?
Yes.
Or did they like film 1, edit it in between, release 1?
I'm pretty sure.
And then we're still filming, like. Because as actors, wouldn't you just be like, yeah, we did it all. It's in the can. And then like for 4 years, you're just living on the
I'm pretty sure that's what happened though. Like they were like, which is part of the reason like they got to become such great friends, right? Because they had the whole experience in New Zealand already, right? And then they got to ride the wave of all the awards and all the releases and all that kind of stuff.
That's insane.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I don't know that for sure, but that's how I remember it. But
yeah, I'll have to dive back into the special features at some point and watch them all again. But we'll explain everything.
How everything comes back to Lord of the Rings, it seems like. By the way, speaking of
so good.
Multiple seasons, it looks like Amazon has greenlit a season 3 already for Rings of Power, and that early work on that season is already underway. So. For those who hate it, suck it. I liked it, so I'm excited for more. All right, Patty Jenkins of Wonder Woman fame is apparently working on Rogue Squadron again. Do you believe that?
Just give it to the Top Gun guy.
Oh yeah, he's probably too expensive now.
Yeah.
And he's not. Don't even get me started.
That should have been the play, though.
He also should have been doing Tron 3, but here we are with whatever we're getting, Tron Ares or whatever it's called. Oh man, it better be cool. Swear to God, if that movie's not cool,
it's already cool. Jared Leto's in it.
Don't do that to me.
Come on,
I don't. No.
What's wrong with Jared Leto?
He had like one good performance ever, and now he's like been riding that wave. Okay, so. Here's the thing. I am willing to believe her that she's working on it. I am not yet willing to believe that Lucasfilm is like, yeah, that movie's happening. So, but in terms of like,
I don't know why the Lucasfilm teased all these freaking movies and these huge timelines.
Investors, like, dude. Investors.
Like, and then your higher ups are saying we're going to be cutting everything that's not essential. Like, I don't know.
It's bullshit. It's
not good.
I think I saw a headline on a YouTube video that was like the greatest mistake of all time was shareholder profits or whatever. It's like all of everyone's jobs and business is just all designed to make the richest people richer, and not at all designed to like make better movies or make better products or make people's lives better. So that's pretty fucking dumb, but that's a bigger problem. I will say this though, as far as safe bets are concerned, a Top Gun style Star Wars movie seems like a pretty safe bet to me. So I feel like they'd be dumb not to pursue that. Okay. Quickly on to some DC stuff. The Batman 2 has been delayed to October 2nd, 2026. Rumors about the movie include Joker being a Hannibal Lecter type in Arkham, Clayface being a serial killer who uses his victim's skin to change the appearance of his face, and that there will be more action sequences than the first movie. Other rumors, although these ones are less founded, is that it's actually canceled and that they're just moving it out so that they can make room for the James Gunn Batman movie, which I don't think is true. Anyway, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this? I know it's been a rocky road for the Batman 2. What are your feelings?
It might be too far away. It's just
too short.
Who's excited? Like, why, like, are we actually excited to dive back into that world right now?
I mean, are you not going to watch? Are you going to watch Penguin?
No, it's not about, are you going to not watch it? I'm just saying, like, if you could choose, like, is this the Batman? Is this it?
Well,
I don't know if I think there's a lot of good pieces to Matt Reeves' world, and the Nirvana song was super cool, and the Batmobile is super awesome.
Yep.
And the Penguin's cool. But I just don't think it's like the end all be all of Batman. And I don't know if we can dive back into it.
I saw someone say on Twitter that it was like, well, we already had a grounded version of the Batman stuff.
I mean, Batman Begins is a million times better.
I don't know if it's a million. I don't say a million times better.
Like, if that's the first one of the Dark Knight trilogy.
I feel like you have literally cooled on this movie every time. You get cooler on it every time we talk about it.
It's just not. It has that one amazing, brilliant sequence in the beginning,
right at the beginning,
voiceover from Batman, Bruce Wayne, whatever, and the Batmobile is super cool, and that's about it. I mean, the Alfred falls flat, the Commissioner Gordon falls flat. Catwoman falls flat.
I don't know about that.
The ending, the super hopeful, optimistic ending is just. It's just so. It's just not what the darkness of the movie. I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know, dude.
Here's the thing: we're gonna get another taste of this world with the Penguin right away.
Yeah, that'd be cool. HBO. The Mafia, right? Yeah.
So that might change your tune on that. Mm-hmm. Here's what I think. One. Yes, it's a long time to wait for a sequel to a movie that came out like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Right? I don't know.
Like that, yeah.
And that's unfortunate, but I think it's insulated enough by feeling different enough that I think the Batman 2 is going to be an easy sell. So I don't think we'll have to be worried about people not showing up or not understanding or whatever. So I think it's safe from that perspective. And also, I think we should put to rest. There's no reason, there's no grounding for the rumor that this is just a way for them to cancel this movie softly. So, like,
I mean, you never know.
I mean, sure, anything can happen, and maybe I'll eat my words, but like, based on this information alone, there's just not enough. The original Batman was delayed a whole extra year before it released. So I'm not. I don't think this is like a final nail in the coffin.
No, yeah. But we could dive in on the whole like two sides type, what's been like, because they're talking about the script, like the script's not ready. He stopped writing because the strike, and then it was like, oh, James Gunn finished the Superman script or whatever. Like that's the whole kind of convo happening. I just laughed at it.
Speeds, yeah.
Like who knows? Like it's just sometimes it's funny how like the internet and us chronically being online sometimes exposes the truth in
sometimes, but it's way. Like that's like saying it's like, well, if you throw everything at the wall, eventually something's going to stick. But
right. But then there's all these stories where like we only want one Superman and we only want one Batman. Like it's like all these conflicting.
We'll see.
Reports are still bleeding into the new kind of regime a little bit. But
again, you have to remember.
And then Superman comes out next year, and then James Gunn's contract is up like a year after that, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's super weird how it works.
It is weird, and I feel like it's way too early to make any of these predictions. Again, until Superman comes out and the reception of that is clear, and the plans following that are kind of solidified. There's who knows, but again, remember that Penguin's still coming out. That he was involved in that, right? Matt Reeves was involved in that production as well. So it's not like he's just been sitting around twiddling his thumbs, And so again, sure, anything's possible, but I just feel like it's way too fast to have a knee-jerk reaction like that. Secondly, I think it's dumb to have Clayface be a serial killer who uses his victim's skin to change the appearance of his face. I'm just going to put that out there. If you're going to do that, just don't use Clayface. Like it doesn't like that. Clayface is such an interesting character.
It's got to be edgy.
Yeah, it can be etchy, but it doesn't have to be Clayface. It could be other characters. Other characters. Use Zaz then if you want a serial killer. You know what I mean? Like there's other things that you could do, right? And I will say this: the Joker being a Hannibal Lecter type is kind of interesting, to be honest. I will take that. I'll give them a note for that, and more action sequences. Not a problem with that. So really, my only problem is this Clayface serial killer rumor, which I hope is not true. So, but I'll hold my my judgment until it comes out. Last question, Jeremy: should Batman kill? Question mark. I don't know if we need to get into that here, but there has been a lot of back and forth online about that concept. Ultimately, there's no right answer, but I will say.
Well, it's just what you're posing, whatever your hypothetical is. It's also about context.
Sure.
I mean, this whole thing is just it's been pushed so far over the edge. Like people are they're arguing their stances, but like they're not like there's not really necessarily like a battle of like one is wrong or whatever. Like
sure,
it's just someone talking about pushing a character to its limits or testing a character, deconstructing. It's not about mass murder or like
sure,
if you kill you're just immediately the Joker. Like it's all these like crazy thoughts over like this icon, and I just think it's been blown out of proportion. Like I just think
sure,
and especially when the elements being talking about is the Dark Knight Returns, where he literally blasts people with a gun.
Yes, but that's
because it kind of turns it turns like what you expect on its head,
yeah.
Which is super exciting though. Like that's why that's what influenced him. That's why he does his art. That's why it's always so provocative. It always talked about to this day, and like even him explaining that moment where the guy in the story is like, "I'll kill her, like I'll do it." And then he just says, "I believe you," and blasts him in the head. It's like what an iconic, holy shit moment. Because we just move on from it. To me, it's so brilliant. Because if Batman had to do it, he's gonna do it, and he's just gonna move on from it. It's like we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like I saved this little kid, and we're gonna keep going. Like it had to be done. Let's not dive into it and just all of a sudden talk about me being a serial killer villain all of a sudden. And then the context of BVS and what that story represents in the grander scheme of the DC mythos and the characters coming together, and with a Batman who loses his way. That's all the context, right? So all that is completely eliminated when it becomes tweets and banter on Twitter.
Yeah, I think ultimately it all comes down to context. I think it's a microcosm of the bigger, I guess, criticisms of Zack Snyder's approach to Batman specifically.
Yeah.
And then it can be boiled down to this one specific quote. I think people mostly had problems with him saying that his opinion on it was that by not letting Batman kill, that DC was coddling the character and or like not giving them the freedom to, and that kind of thing. And I don't entirely agree with that, because I think the point that like people like Grant Morrison are making and others is that yes, it from time to time, outside of kind of like the core nature of the character, it's interesting to explore those boundaries. But largely speaking, it's more interesting, and it's not to say that's right or wrong. It's just what's more interesting to these creators. It's more interesting to have him reach those limits, but then still not be able to kill and have to find another way, right? That creates a more interesting concept, and that's kind of how I fall on it. But again, there's no wrong answer necessarily. But I don't feel like he does himself any favors by inviting these types of these conversations. But I don't know. It's fun to have every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we talked about it already, but Superman Legacy has been renamed to simply Superman. I feel like I don't love that. It just feels too simple. What was wrong with Superman Legacy exactly? I don't know. Maybe the story changed. I don't know. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, this to me, this is like the only time where I lean into like, the ego of James Gunn or something. It's like, like why are you doing that? Like, why are you doing that? Like, it's, I don't know, because like it'll always be known as just Superman, like the Superman movie or Superman, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it won't have, but whereas Zach has Man of Steel, Christopher Reeve has Superman the movie,
yeah.
And then Legacy just seemed kind of cool because like you're kind of jumping in on this legacy, after all this time, after like 85 plus years of history, and you're gonna throw your spin on it, but it's like it kind of incorporates everything before, but then you just eliminate that by just calling it straight up Superman.
Do we know for sure this is a Gunn decision, or is this a studio?
Oh, for sure, they're the boss
piece. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there might be a bit of it which is like, oh, can we make it cleaner, from a executive standpoint? But I mean, he ultimately seems to hold the keys, so probably not. I don't know. It just feels a little lazy. That's all. Like if you're going to change the name, change it to something else.
Well, he also might have not liked it because all the toxic people are calling it Superman L.
Oh,
like for like loss or loser.
Maybe, I guess, but like that seems like a symptom of being chronically online.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's entertaining. Like I find it like entertainment to me. Like when I see the shit on there, like I don't engage with it like you do sometimes, but like
it just sometimes
like ultimately everything's just gonna play out how it plays out.
Exactly.
So
well, people believe that they can influence things by saying things there. I don't know. I also think it's largely entertaining, but sometimes it's like by the 14th tweet that's like saying the same dumb thing, it's like, okay, enough.
But now it's just become where you just farm engagement or whatever they call it.
And that's all. It's crazy. Don't people have anything better to do? I don't get it.
Well, some of them it's their career. Like there's that.
You're right.
There's a bunch of accounts, and like those accounts that get like invited to premieres, and they kind of just like they do like the junket interviews, and they just kind of kiss ass no matter what they're in front of, because like they maintain the cycle. But then as soon as you like are truthful or like against something, then you don't get like the backstage pass or
access journalism.
Well, yeah, which is what like in the video game world, like on the sacred symbols, like the Colin Moriarty stuff, he's kind of like at the forefront of all that, like with like the biggest PlayStation podcast in the world, I think, and the patrons. I think they're like 15,000 monthly subscribers or whatever, which is like pretty high. And like he can kind of just reflect on like the dwindling like aspects of that journalism.
Yeah, I mean it just creates inherent conflict. So between your ability to hold an opinion, and then I feel like ultimately I feel like it might poison you. Like I don't like it's hard
because
to tell.
why would you want to listen to those voices or those people you like when all of a sudden now that they've joined into a community where you have to just accept that there's like this kind of positivity around all the content, unless
I
it's
don't know,
something that's like being dogpiled on where they didn't get access to.
I do like to live in a world where we try to be more positive about things in general, but if that positivity is being bought, then that's just cynical. So I don't know. It's hard to know what to trust these days, and that's a problem.
Well, look at the Suicide Squad game. That was dead on arrival. Obviously, it had a lot of bad things going for it, but the entire coverage, like industry, all their articles were clickbaity with crazy headlines, to the point where, like, I think Rocksteady, they just like they're completely like, I don't even know, like they're like,
I mean, I think there's a little bit of.
But then, you need
put yourself in that position.
Yeah, obviously criticism is warranted in some regards.
Yeah, I think specifically about that game, it's like it just looks like the most boring gameplay I've ever seen in my life, and like I like.
But that gameplay isn't like but it's like that Fortnite gameplay that we're not even really into.
I know exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like that. It could just be. It couldn't be less appealing to me.
Right.
Someone who's played all the Batman.
But that target audience who it is appealing to is it's pretty massive.
But it's, I mean, is it though? Because I mean,
like the Fortnite audience,
back to just like make the stuff that make the movies you want to make. I mean, this is actually a great segue into the agree or disagree here. So
yeah, let's do it.
Jonathan Nolan. So I don't know if you're familiar. Jonathan Nolan, obviously the brother of Christopher Nolan, but I mean specifically about what I'm talking about here, which is that he is the showrunner writer
Fallout.
on Fallout, right? And if you've seen the trailers, it looks pretty good, right? I'm pretty interested in what's going to happen there. Anyway, he is doing his rounds because the show's going to be premiering soon. But in a recent interview, he said that he thought it would be, quote, a fool's errand to set out to please fans. He says, quote, my approach is to make the show you want to make, trusting as fans of the game, we would find pieces that were essential to us. So I find this interesting, specifically as it relates to gaming adaptations, because right now the Halo show season 2 is on, and it is getting eaten alive online from a criticism perspective. I've been watching it, and I'm lukewarm on it because I think there's really cool moments, and it looks like they're.
Did you watch all of season 1?
I watched all of season 1. I put myself through
that. I did one episode. I was like, this is terrible, and then I did the second one.
Season 1's not great.
Like, this is horrible. But I did it because season 2, some of the trailers, some of the shit I've been seeing is somewhat piquing my interest. So
there's some interesting stuff.
And the actor, Pablo Schreiber, is just
he's great.
So hot.
Well, he just I feel like he really does a great job as Master Chief and bringing that character, some character, which he doesn't really have in the games that much. So that's to say that again, Halo is being.
Sorry, wait 1 second.
Yeah,
I was going to say it kind of reminds me of the Resident Evil movies.
Right.
Kind of how those were created. They kind of did the same kind of approach where they just wanted to create new experience even for the fans of the game.
Right. And then using taking key elements and then reworking them and that kind of thing. And so Halo, I want to say, and it's so interesting because it's as we talk about, Jeremy, it's all about expectations, right? And the expectations of Fallout based on these trailers is it looks pretty good, right? And we've seen things from Jonathan Nolan before in Westworld and stuff that are good. So he's got a little bit of baked in, he has the benefit of the doubt, right? And then, but Halo, I swear to God, the Halo showrunner said the exact same thing, had almost this exact same quote about how we didn't just set out to adapt the games one for one, that there was that was a fool's errand, that there was a core to the Halo stuff that we tried to tap into. They also, stepped in it a little bit because they also said it's impossible to tell a story with a main character always wearing a helmet. And we know that's not true because we've seen The Mandalorian. So they, I don't think they do themselves as many favors from a PR perspective, but I just find it interesting that the dynamic or the dichotomy between this kind of the reception to that type of quote. And then I also think of The Last of Us and the episode from The Last of Us that's the most polarized, right? Was it episode 3 or episode 4?
The super gay one?
The Bill episode, right? That episode is taking core elements of that world and then telling a story with it that's completely unrelated to the game because the main characters aren't even in it. But one might argue it's the best episode of that whole series so far. So I don't know, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with this approach that Jonathan Nolan takes, which is that it's a fool's errand to try to please fans, or as a creator adapting a beloved franchise, whether it's a video game or a book or something else, that it's your duty to try to satisfy that fandom that made it popular in the first place?
Yeah, I guess I would agree. I mean, you can't please everybody no matter what. And then you can't just go in pleasing the fans of the source material only because you have such a wider audience that you need to bring along. And then you have a different medium that you're showcasing the thing. And then even TV and a movie is different too, long form and short form. So I think he's largely right, but I think we live in a world where if you just give the fan base enough to work with in between, things, then you'll get all the praise you need.
I think you're right.
And I think with Last of Us, we saw that. It was, okay, yeah, there's a bunch of the, Leo pointing at the screen moments for us as fans. And then also moments of oh shit, where are we now? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then even the Mario movie too, right? Like in terms of a movie trying to appease fan, like that was just a whole concoction of like trying to appease
yeah,
this and that, and then it just lost out on its kind of deeper kind of tones.
It doesn't really have a message, and it kind of is a little muddled.
If it is, it's just very basic, like he wasn't good enough or whatever,
and then he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I think that's a great, Jeremy. That's great. That's a really good answer to that. I think the secret is to understand that you do need to make changes to adapt something to any medium, from any medium to any other medium, and the changes have to happen, right? Which is why you get things like even movies adapted to books. Like when you get like the novelized version of something, you get like internal dialogue that you would never get from a character in a movie, right? And that's cool. It gives you interesting insights, and that's a change from the way the movie would do it, and certainly not better or worse. But I think the secret here is that to not pretend like you know better than the fans, because the games or whatever the original content was popular for a reason, right? And this is where I think things like the Halo show get into trouble, because they kept Master Chief out of his armor in season 2 for like 4 straight episodes. And I think that it's like, I understand what you're going for. You want like how you want to tell this more human story, etc. But people want to see Master Chief in the armor. You know what I mean? So you got to find a way to balance that as a creator, and be able to say, as Jonathan Nolan here says, you got to find those essential elements, right? And be true to the story you're trying to tell, but you got to find a way to sprinkle in those elements that are going to make fans of the original thing excited. Otherwise, why are you even adapting this thing? Just tell a new story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know we're coming up on time here, but do you want to say anything about your excitement for X-Men 97? Because again, that's going to premiere this week.
Sure. I mean, this is best case scenario for X-Men fans right now.
Have you seen that clip, by the way? The clip they released? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first trailer was pretty good, and the clips kind of extended all that. But I mean, it's the quintessential X-Men roster: the look, the aesthetic, the adaptation of the Jim Lee, and forgetting the writer, but their adaptations. And we thought it was, the voice actors are back. We thought it was long gone, but they're literally just continuing the story. So if it's not going to be, the X-Men movie cast kind of reuniting and doing their thing, then this is
the next
best thing, if not the best thing, because like I said, it's just quintessential X-Men.
Well, also wasn't Singer and all them like inspired by the cartoon anyway? Like, wasn't that a part of that?
Apparently, he watched all the seasons, and leading up to the movie. I don't think he wrote the movie though. I think
right.
The guy who voiced Solid Snake wrote the movie.
David Hayter?
Yeah. He also wrote Watchmen, I believe, as well. Okay. Or a version of it.
Right.
But what an astonishing, man, I love X-Men too. I still remember being in the theater for that movie. Like the literal theater experience and the ending when the monologue
you have the
is
X-Jet toy.
Yes. So well, that was from the first movie.
Yeah, but still,
because that was 2000, so I was like 11 or 10 or whatever. But the second movie, just the way it ended too, right, with like the tease of the Phoenix, and you could see the flames in the water,
Yep.
And then Jean Grey was reciting the monologue of Xavier from the previous movie. What every few millennia evolution leaps forward, and then just the music and everything, just so epic, just so amazing.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of which, the X-Men 97 music is like,
oh yeah,
you gotta love
that's
that
peak X-Men.
Yeah, you gotta love that they like immediately understood that was like one of the most important like what makes the show work. Not entirely, but like it certainly pulls.
Yeah, well, it's the same show, right? That's the whole thing. It's just like it's the same show. We're just continuing. We're just throwing the tagline 97 at the end. Why would we change the song?
Right. Like I wonder if like there was a time when they're like, well, maybe we'll reboot X-Men like the animated series, right? Mm-hmm. and like they were talking about it, and then this is how I feel. This is my like internal version of this story, but like my headcanon. But like they're talking about it and they're like, okay, well, we can maybe rework this and rework that and like modernize this. And then they're like, well, what about the theme song? And they're like, well, the theme song has to stay. And then once they got to that point, they're like, well, then why do we change anything?
Yeah, just keep
you know
it going.
What I mean? Like,
and you're also in a difficult spot where like the X-Men are still far away from entering the MCU fully with their own.
Why though
like,
are
movie.
they so far away from entering the MCU fully?
Well, they had all these other plans before they got the rights
Sure.
to those characters. They need to kind of play those out. They can't. It's just they need to explain it into existence. So, like I said, best case scenario, we're getting X-Men full-fledged ASAP, literally in 2 days. The main roster, Wolverine, Cyclops, the whole gang.
Listen, bub.
But it's also best case scenario for Kevin Feige because like it's like now they got to do a live action version, but like now they have a little bit of freedom to create a different roster potentially.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because like this is the blueprint for X-Men. This is the
the other thing
era. This is the blueprint.
You don't even necessarily like the other thing is that this also could set the stage to say, hey, remember this amazing X-Men cast? And then leverage. I mean, because the X-Men movies had a similar cast, but it wasn't exactly the same, right? So you could, and I'm not saying you need to do it one for one, but you could do things like, hey, we're going to do Rogue more like the Rogue from the comic or the cartoon, right? Mm-hmm. Which we never really had live action before, right? And because you could argue that Wolverine was done pretty well, and you could argue that Cyclops was done pretty well, and Jean was done pretty well, right? So that like, and even Beast, obviously Beast is great because they've already brought him back, Kelsey Grammer, to do it, the voice. But like some of those core members, and obviously Charles Xavier can't beat Patrick Stewart for that, but there's room to like reintroduce some of these more side characters potentially, or like alternate cast members, or like alternate versions of hey, we're gonna do Magneto, but he's a good guy this time, which of course they've done before, but we're gonna reintroduce you to that concept.
It's just weird. Like it's such a tall task for the MCU to incorporate these characters because, like you said, what do you do? Do you do what everyone knows, or like even relating to our other conversation about like it's a fool's errand to please everybody? Like, how do you actually do that? But what we do know is that they're just giving us full-fledged X-Men in
like,
this
doesn't even matter. You don't even care.
And that's because with Deadpool 3, we know Hugh Jackman, and like there's gonna be other cameos. Like it's like Kelsey Grammer was already teased a CG version of him in the Marvels.
Yes.
Like maybe we're gonna do one last go with that roster and bring James Marsden back as Cyclops.
Sure.
Bring Halle Berry. Like let's just why not? We already did it with the Spider-Mans. We did it with some other ones. And we also know like Pyro is coming back in Deadpool 3. Yeah, like the original Pyro from the X-Men movies.
Who's been busy actually, that guy.
Let's just give one last hurrah to the OG, Fox X-Men roster.
Well, I know you want that.
Well, I mean, all the actors are sweet too. Hugh Jackman, James Marsden, Halle Berry, Kelsey Grammer, Famke Janssen.
Famke Janssen, the most fun name to say.
Like, come on. Like Patrick Stewart's still alive, Ian McKellen's still alive. Like, come on.
Yes, I feel like that would be the coolest thing, is to like just to see the Magneto Professor X stuff brought back again, and then
do an edit, and then that classic X-Men music from those movies too is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, well,
no, not from the cartoon, but from like the movies. Music. It's similar to the cartoon a little bit. They have some similar beats.
Yes, I would be okay with that, but I think ultimately you do need to recast. I know there's been some people saying like, well, it would be cool to have like Giancarlo Esposito and like Denzel Washington as
that's all bull crap. What they do is we do Last Hurrah with the Fox X-Men, and then we do some sort of multiverse thing where the animated versions of X-Men 97 they just cast unknown actors that are Jubilee, that are all those characters, and we just go from there.
Okay, so you just bring the X-Men 97 people into the MCU as live action,
and then we do House of M
as the kickoff.
Because everyone knows Magneto and everything like that.
Well, the thing is, again, this is like, there's so many complications, because if you do that, then you have to kind of figure out a way to explain his he's actually the father of Scarlet Witch.
We bring
and
both
so that's
those actors
complicated. Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm sure they can figure out a way to do it, and especially the multiverse concept allows you to do it. They're going to do their own version of a Final Crisis to bring in the X-Men, I feel like, essentially, is my hunch on that. You know, Secret Wars will collapse the multiverse back down into something singular, which will have a new universe that includes the X-Men. How you explain that, you know, Magneto is a survivor of the Holocaust in the year 2027 or whatever year that happens, I don't know. But I feel like that one single piece of his backstory makes it so, I feel like, creates such a quagmire. I don't know how you tell that. I don't know if you modernize that story, what else you do with it. I'm open to it either way, but I don't know. It's a challenge. So let's do this. I'll leave you on this then. Eternals 2 was canceled. So I know you didn't like that movie, but I did. So it's unfortunate for me. This is in a move where the studio wants to take, quote, less risks and focus on more guaranteed hits. As we talked about, obviously X-Men stuff is going to be pretty guaranteed. So, you know, but sooner rather than later, I think people would all agree on that front. Disney, and I also, by the way, a Nova project, like the Nova Core project, is apparently in early development, which seems to be, by the way, in direct conflict with the idea that they want to take less risks and have more guaranteed hits, because nothing feels more like a non-guarantee of a hit than a Nova Core movie, in my opinion.
Depends on the actor as well,
I suppose, but like, I feel like what are you going to get?
He was Ryan Gosling or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right. So, and wouldn't it be wild, Jeremy, if they figured out Nova before DC ever got around to figuring out how to do Green Lantern right? That what a cruel world we would live in. But this all revolves around this. I mean, not entirely, but Disney's live action boss, which is not entirely overseeing, of course, MCU, but David Greenbaum reportedly pitched his approach to greenlighting projects as one question: does this film need to exist? Which is hilarious, because that's the question we've been asking about these live action Disney movies for a decade now. So I do feel a little vindicated on that. So it's a little bit of high, a little bit of low. No Eternals 2, which is a shame. And fewer, or maybe none at all, live action remakes of Disney classics. I'm all here for it. So we can leave you on that. Any thoughts on those before I wrap things up?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. On that note then, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for supporting the show if you are a Patreon subscriber, but you can help support the show even without paying any money. You can go leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast player of choice would be. A nice review would be well appreciated. And of course, listen to or tune in later this week, Thursday, this evening, or not this evening, sorry, in the evening on Thursday, for our live recording of Small Screen Star Wars, where we will be covering episode 8 of season 3 of The Bad Batch. This is the final season of The Bad Batch, and it is great so far. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't got into it, highly recommend it. Go watch the first episode of the first season. It's a 90-minute, essentially animated movie with some of the best animation you're going to see this side of anywhere. If you're not into that, fair enough. But if you are, catch up. We've covered every single episode of this series. You can find that all on the Small Screen Star Wars feed. It's also on the main feed. You're just going to have to look through it and sort through some other stuff to get to it. Again, that's Thursdays we record live. Those episodes drop Fridays. So stay tuned for that. And until then, we'll have plenty of TOB. We'll talk to you soon.